Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Monday, August 24th, 9:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Monday is Weekly News and Announcements Day. And, man, there's not a ton of news these days, is there? But what we can do is spend some time talking about GameHole Con coming up in November. And we could talk about events we might be submitting to it. We'll talk about stuff like that, right? Right. How's it going there, Neutral Good Books? Thank you for joining us today. Who else we got out there? You see, there's some folks seem to be lurking around there. Yoda Stein, are you there? Death Angel Shadow? A few others. Hey, if you are here and you haven't already, please do follow the channel. Something else you might enjoy is every week I give away a little something, and I announce it on Monday for the previous week. There's a virtual GameHole Con badge that's being given away. I've contacted the person who won. They have not gotten back to me yet. I'm pretty confident that they will take it rather than reject it, so I don't think we'll have somebody else be getting it this week. But I keep a list. Starting yesterday and going through Saturday, I'll be keeping a list for this week. And then next Monday, somebody from that list will get something. And I'll tell you, these virtual GameHole Con tickets are pretty popular, so I will probably stick with that. I've got a couple other things I've been starting to kind of set aside for some future ones. I don't know if they'll be after GameHole Con or if some point the saturation rate of GameHole Con badges is such that everybody who comes to the stream already has one and doesn't need a second or a third or whatever. And, I don't want to give away something that nobody wants. So maybe we'll switch it up. Maybe periodically I should just switch it up. I'm not sure. I haven't quite figured out the best way to do that yet. Somebody was asking me about the slideshow in the off hours between shows. Death Angel Shadow, how's it going? Between shows, I've been collecting photos from all the way back to the first GaryCon. In fact, if you look at, and from other conventions over the last decade and a half, in game days, and just used to take pictures, a ton of pictures all the time, as you can tell from this. But there was a sort of a sea change maybe about 8 years ago where suddenly everybody was starting to take selfies and pictures. And before that, I'm surprised. I was always surprised how few people were taking pictures at conventions and games and stuff. LexFire22, what's up? And I always thought, people always talk about how much fun they had at a convention, how they wish they could, and then they scratch their head, oh, who was in that game with me that day? So I just started walking around, and like 3 times a day, I would walk the entire. It's a small enough convention, you can get around pretty easily back then, and see everything in 15 minutes if you didn't stop and chat all the time. So I would walk the entire convention floor. I'd just go in one room, around to a dozen tables, into the next room, around to a dozen tables. The next room might have three or four. And I'd just take a picture of each and every table. And I would do that essentially once mid late morning, once early mid afternoon, and once early in the evening. And even if I had a game, I'd excuse myself from the table for 5 or 10 minutes. I'd make sure it was all right to do that. Or if that wouldn't work with the game I was playing, I'd wait until mid game when we were taking a break, and I'd use my break to go around and take pictures of all the other tables and the terrain in particular. I just always personally just love pictures of well done terrain like this here. Just amazing. And of course, the artwork that they put up on the walls and you know, uh, getting these banners up of old school stuff. And Gary's memorial table, if you will. The table of honor. Always had some Gary artifacts on it. And you could go over there, get a picture by the table. You know, I never sat down in the chair that was supposedly, I mean, I know it wasn't actually his chair, or maybe it was, and I just don't know it. But I wonder if people would sit down in the chair like they were at his desk. Because, it looked a little like a game table there, but I think as things went on, they would get one of his ashtrays and his little typewriter and make it more like his create space, his work desk. And I can imagine some people wanting to commemorate going to Gary Con and get a picture of themselves seated at his desk. That'd be a nice thing, I imagine. I'm not sure if it was frowned on or if anybody actually did it. I never saw it happen, so there you go. Alan. Alan, man, that guy brings stuff. Oh, yeah, look at that t-shirt. That's pretty cool. What do we got on that table? Is that like a dice thing or something that you put? What is that? Oh, is that like a dragon head? Like a pin? Is it a belt buckle? You put that on a wall? What is it? I'm not even sure. And it's been almost 10 years. This is GaryCon 12. No. GaryCon 12. This is 2012 GaryCon 4. So, 8 years ago. I can't recall exactly. These are pretty neat. They always have some sort of display of early original artwork. Sometimes they put stuff like this up in the auction. So if you're a collector, there's a lot of stuff I think that winds up in the auction here that you'd never see on eBay. Some of the old timers, the early Gary Cons were at Geneva Ridge, right? That's absolutely right. The first one was at the American Legion Hall, and then they moved it to the Ridge the second year, third year, fourth year, still at the Ridge, maybe fifth. I'd have to double check before it went out to the Grand Geneva. The rooms were smaller and compact compared to the Grand Geneva. If you're talking about the game rooms, absolutely. I don't know about the rooms that you stay in. I stayed in a couple at early Gary Cons because I still lived down in Illinois at that point. I only moved up here 7 years ago. So for this Gary Con, I would have driven up. It was pretty cool. 3-4 years in, I figured out the system well enough that I knew when I could call to make sure that I got a specific room kind of close to the action so that when I was in between games, I could slip back to my room and, unload one set of books and grab a different one, or pick up my boxes of stuff that I needed to run a game and drop off my backpack full of game books from another game that I was running. It was a lot easier once we did it a few years. But moving over to Grand Geneva obviously needed to be done. It had to move somewhere bigger, and Grand Geneva was the place that we could move in. They, us, all of us, we all moved. Where the convention could go and stay in Lake Geneva. Of course, there's that nod to the fact that Gen Con, before leaving Lake Geneva and going out to University of Wisconsin at Parkside over in Kenosha, it did 1 year at what was the Playboy Club then, which became the Grand Geneva. So, in a sense, Gary Con's is kind of sticking with the roots of what Gen Con did. Although, well, there's actually, I think for a couple of years, they've done some kind of special events at the Horticultural Hall, which is where Gen Con spent most of its time when it was in Lake Geneva. So, 75 was my first Gen Con, and that was the second to last year that it was at the Horticultural Hall. I was there the 1 year that it was at the Playboy Club, and then I was there, I think, almost every year when it was at University of Wisconsin at Parkside. They even volunteered a year. Somewhere there's a picture of me with my pops at a Cubs game, and I'm wearing the t-shirt they gave me for volunteering at Gen Con 11. It's got that Chaos Star on it. But yeah, this is a tight little place. We just got we wound up with too many people to keep playing there, and hotel wise, I think even after the first year, maybe even during the first year, there were people having to stay, shall we say, off campus, off site. People having to stay elsewhere because there were only so many rooms. I think they expanded. This year, before GC was canceled, they had events at the Timber Ridge, I believe. Yeah, I think you're right. Was Cosmo Joe's big old virtual dungeon thing going to be set up over there at a big place? That may be the case. Timber Ridge, yeah. They were expanding. And I think just about every hotel, whether it's Grand Geneva itself or the Cove, Comfort Suites, the Ridge, they built a new hotel over on the road where is that Spring Hill, the old road that the last TSR building was on, but closer to the back entrance to Grand Geneva. They built another hotel over there, a Marriott or a Marcus. No, what is it? Marriott? I forget. But they put it up there. I don't know. It's like a 6-story. They're definitely gonna get. I'm sure they were booked solid this year because it's so close. If you got a vehicle and you were staying there, you could pop over in probably 5 minutes. It'd take you, parking, right? Of course, I don't know if anybody here plans to go to GaryCon, but do yourself a favor. They do free valet parking. So, use the valet. Drop the guy at 20. I mean, I used to live in Chicago, so the idea of paying for parking has never fazed me. The idea that parking is free at a big old thing like this blows my mind in the first place. The idea that valet parking is free, just crazy. So day one, I'll give the guy $20 when he's taking my car, and I'll say, I'll be in and out a few days, and catch you again on the last day. And they always they park it close. The few times that I'll have to go out and come back, which I generally don't do. Once I'm there for most of the day. But with the game store and stuff, I've had to run back and forth a little bit, so that's something. But be really generous with them. If you take advantage of the free valet parking, just be overly generous. What's that Steve Martin line from My Blue Heaven? Talk about miscasting. He plays a mobster who's being put into witness protection, and he's trying to explain. He says it's not tipping I believe in, it's over tipping. And it's true. I mean, if you're going to tip, definitely be generous. I mean, I bartended a long time, so I guess maybe I have an affliction where I tip too much, but especially this year. I mean, it's so tough for people in the service industry, whether they're working in a hotel that have been closed for 6, 8 months, whatever, whether they're bartending or serving tables or anything. They are taking a huge hit this year. And I'm not sure exactly how it's working with, but unemployment for people that are in the service industry, they make so little as a guaranteed wage that I think they get hit pretty hard. Hey, Lost Snowman, how's it going? I think they get hit pretty hard when this sort of thing happens. Future Good Books, Lost Nomad, Death Angel Shadow, Ink Dweller 8, Lexfire 22. I've got all of you on the list for this week. Death Angel Shadow. Hobbs was here during toward the end of the slideshow. I guess he didn't make it back. Maybe he's got something going, but I added him on there too for this week. And Growl Knight's on there from yesterday, so I think we've got everybody covered. Where are we at? Like I said, I did contact the person who got the badge this week, and they haven't gotten back to me, so maybe I'll have to do a reissue if they turn it down. But they're actually somebody who didn't have one yet, so I'm pretty sure they plan on doing that. But let's talk about GameHole Con and submissions. What I think most of you are planning on going, right? So are most of you planning on running things for GameHole Con? Did you use this last week to give it a little bit of thought and think about maybe, or are you going to go and just jump into games and play and check out seminars? I'll tell you, because I was not used to running games for on virtual tabletops when GaryCon got canceled, because that wasn't something that was in my wheelhouse at the time. I did not run games, and I didn't even know virtual tabletops as far as board gaming's concerned either. I hadn't done any of that, so all that was new to me when suddenly we were thrown into the deep end, and so I just went to things, and most of what I went to, I didn't want to take up seats either. I know there are going to be a limited number of GMs. I didn't want to jump into games. I didn't want to be that fish out of water who didn't know what they were doing, and slowing down everybody else's game when they were people. There were a lot of people, obviously, that attended that never could have attended a physical GaryCon. So people from all over the world were able to go and play and stuff. All I did was, for most of what I did was, let's say that, was attend seminars. Bill Petrossi, I got to meet Bill, who runs, what's his, Minor Realm Games. He's got a channel that's worth checking out. That's his Twitch name. He's a good guy. He runs games on there, and at conventions, he does seminars on how to be a better GM, what to do in this sort of case, writing adventures, creating memorable NPCs, stuff like that. And they are great. He does a very, very good job. There's even for somebody who's been running games forever. Not running but participating, Lost Nomad, that's cool. Jump into games and seminars for me. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, look for some of Bill Petrosky's stuff for sure. I know he did it for Gen Con, he did it for Gary Con, he's done it for other cons. And like I say, follow his Twitch channel, Minor Realm. Minor Realms? Let me see. Minor Realm Games. But it's MINOR. Yeah, that's right. Minor Realms. No S. Minor Realm on Realms. Minor Realm Games. Yep, that's his. Anyway, go follow his. He'll be sure to he'll be screaming and yelling about it. You know, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't think I'm gonna be able to run anything at it. It's not my focus, but you know there is that Greyhawk Con coming up in early October. Is it early October or is it in September? I'm gonna have to double check. Anybody else going already to Greyhawk Con? Virtual Greyhawk Con. It is on Tabletop Events. It is October 2nd to 4th. Yep. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do... Whoop. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. Let's bring this over here. Virtual Greyhawk Convention. October 2nd to 4th, 2020. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 9 until, well, 1 a.m. Yeah. Sunday till 10:30 p.m. Okay. I'm sure they have all sorts of events. You know, just the seminars alone will be the kind of things that Lord Gasumba runs on his Twitch channel. If you're familiar with the Greyhawk chats he has on Sunday nights, or the other games in Greyhawk that he runs, and of course Castle Entertainment. Carlos and Amanda are just wonderful. They are definitely going to be doing some running of games, and it probably stream them on their channel, CASL Entertainment. You familiar with them? Definitely give them a follow. Number of openings still for games. Greyhawk Con 2nd to 4th. Badge is $3. It goes to charity. That's sweet. I'll just buy a badge. At the very least, I should just buy a badge, just to help support them, because they're good. You know, I mean, there's a bunch of good people working on this thing, and you know, every charity. Mount Royal, New Jersey, it says for the location. Obviously, it's virtual, so it's all online. Who lives in Mount Royal, New Jersey? That's not Jay, is it? Is it Lord Gasumba? Does he actually live in Jersey? I thought he lived... For some reason I thought he lived in Texas. I don't know for sure. Now I'm confused. Is Tabletop Events actually based out of Jersey? Maybe? I don't know. That's crazy. Anywho, registration begins July 1st. Obviously already going. Event registration. Okay, that's already up and running. So if you're going to go to this thing, get in now. Probably want to make sure there's lots of seats. A number of openings still for games. Yeah. Okay, good. Virtual Greyhawk Con. Yeah. Last day of event submission is September 28th. You know, that's the thing about a virtual convention, right? You can go you can go down to the wire and get away with it because it's all real time as far as when it's people can sign up right to the last minute, right? Because they're not, you don't have to transplant your show from your shed where you keep all your show stuff, or your home. Bring it all to a place and feel like there's a lag between. Still, the 28th to the 2nd, okay, that gives them a few days to say, all right, no new headaches in the last handful of days. We don't want to risk having crazy crap happen in the final hours. Eric Mona and Luke Gygax and other VIPs are playing Saturday night. Worth it to see that. There you go. Jay is from Jersey. Okay, that's good to know. I'm a Philly boy myself. I got a lot of relatives in South Jersey. Down around the Pine Barrens, Ocean City, Vineland, Cherry Hill. Lots of folks over that way. It's been years since I've been back that way, though. My brother lives out that way, though. He's just north of Philadelphia. Anywho, we've been moving along here, and think about some things. I have not submitted any games yet for GameHole Con. So if people have certain days where they'd specifically like to get in a game that I run, I can kind of set things up in that way. And we can figure out a way to, well, once you put the game in, people can sign up for it, right? So it'd be tough to reserve any seats or anything like that. But we can figure out something like clicking to put it live at a certain time, or adding an additional seat in the edit when a couple of us are online together. Well, you're on the site and I'm on the site, and that way when you see it go, the extra seat added, you can snap it up. Anyway, we can figure something like that out. I know it's kind of gaming the system, but somebody with a badge gets a seat. Nothing wrong with that. That's exactly why. And if I'm setting up the game so that certain people can get seats, I don't think anybody really has a problem with that. Looks like Grail Knight's over there playing Elder Scrolls Online. So if you want to go to his channel after this, if you haven't before, friend of the show, is that what we call people? If you want to pop over to his channel after we're done here and give him a follow, definitely. He's a pal, right? Tell you what, let's just wind her down then, and let me say, start getting it together. Won't be too long. It's coming up fast, right? Just 2 months. Get your games ready for submission to GameHole Con. The rest of the week, we got cartography and world building tomorrow. I think we're going to spend some more time with generators in the kind of world building half of that day, because when we were looking at those last week, I don't know, we looked at half a dozen. I literally have links for hundreds of generators, and I should just go through them, cull the bad ones, share the good ones. They're very useful for world building. We'll look at some tomorrow. Campaign discussion on Wednesday. Not sure where that's going to go. GMing tips on Thursday. Building adventures on Friday. GM reviews on Saturday. I think on Saturday I'm going to be looking at this Penguin book of symbols. Penguin, the publisher, does some great reference books, and their book on symbols is just phenomenal. Rules retrospective next Sunday. I think we're moving on. We did fighters and clerics. We'll either be doing magic users or thieves. So we're looking at all the classes in first edition D&D. If you're here, please do follow the channel. Give us a shout in the stream chat when you do that, because we get you on the list. We do a giveaway every week. We just want to make sure we're not giving something away to a robot. If you're catching up with us on YouTube, thank you very much. Please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up on a video, maybe a comment, some constructive criticism. In any event, it's all good. Have fun. Do some gaming stuff this week. And I thank you very much for being interested in this little thing I do. Come on back, 9:30 a.m. every day. The OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.